Hey man, you ever looking to flatter?
Okay, I turned the audio down a little bit and I'm going to talk over it. But I want to say that I brought the contrast up to plus 33, the saturation to minus 100, and the brightness to minus 18 from the original video. I wanted to see what kind of a difference it makes, and I'm really thinking about getting an infrared camera. Um, the P1000 and then converting it to infrared is just way too expensive for me. I'm just not going to be able to to push that amount of money, being that I already have a P1000 and I have a warranty on it, and I don't want to break that warranty. Oh, I want to bring this up. Look at right at the edge of that island. You can see the Anclote power plant stack sticking up right in the tree line. But I wanted a infrared camera, and one of the things was I could get another P900, which I'm close to that amount of money, thanks to a few donations that I received. I appreciate it very much, toward an infrared camera. I've saved just about 400 bucks, and with the money I got that donated, I'm real close to getting enough for a P1000, but or P900. But I'm also looking at my video, and I see that when I have full zoom, I'm losing a little bit of the quality of the picture. When I zoom back a little bit, I'm getting better definition or more detail, I believe. At least I think so. When I zoom in fully, the distortion is really heavy because I'm picking up more of that distortion. Um, so I'm really thinking about pushing for a Sony, similar to what Jay Tolan uses. And it's a 60 times zoom, which I have the P or the B700 camera from Nikon, and it's got 60 times zoom. And sometimes I think the picture quality is better on that than with the P1000. Only because I have the tendency to want to go full zoom all the time, and I always forget to just back up just a little bit, and I'll get a little better detail. Um, and by cutting out all the saturation rate and turning up the contrast a little bit and the brightness down a little bit, I am picking up more detail, more of this edge. As you see that the edges are always distorted. That's because of Florida weather, bright and sunny. And this day was a pretty sunny day. There was really no clouds in the sky except for the haze on the horizon, which you I don't think we can ever get past that. Um, at least not without having infrared. Now Jay Tolan does some excellent work. Um, I'd like to do some from Florida at a low perspective to see what I can see. So, putting it in black and white, the Sony might be the better camera for me, and it is a lot less expensive. Shoot, I can almost get two for that price. And again, when I zoom in on these boats, now you can really see the top of that boat. And you got to also think that, these waves that are lapping up, and I'm also getting kind of blockage from this distortion. But you can see the edges of these boats a lot clearer than you can with the full color to it. I'm going to try something different on the next video too. I'm going to try turning up the saturation rate and contrast and play around with these settings and maybe even enhance one of them to see if there's any difference, or if I can pull more detail out, or uh, make it a little more visible to where you can see more detail. And that's the issue when you're doing these low perspective videos, is you have this angular resolution issue. And I think by being so low, I'm picking up more of the light propagating off the water. Also, too, you look in the background and there's things that I don't see in the little display, the view screen. So I don't really like zoom in on them or try to focus in on them because I don't really see them in such a small viewing screen. But that's Bill Watt's rack, and I'm going to pick them out. Bill Watt's rack is, let me see, I was just looking at a video somebody did for me showing me all the different distances to the racks. And let's see, Bill Watt's rack is 4.93 miles. That may be off just a tad bit. And then Billy Steele's is going to be 8.62 miles from Pine Island. And I've already, like I said in one of my other videos, I already put out where I went out to each one of these bird racks and got their coordinates. Not exactly on the mark, but because it was rough out that day and I didn't dare try to anchor up to one of the bird racks. Plus, people were fishing and they were fishing toward these bird racks. So to jump in there and cut them off, it's not a nice fisherman thing to do. Now, here's a boat that's way, way out there that normally I would not see, especially at this height. If it was had just a tad bit of mirroring going on out there, this boat would be totally gone, vanished. I wouldn't even see it, or I'd just see a smudge of a black blob, because that's what happens. I mean, you go back to some of my earlier videos. All right, and this is not Billy Steele's. This is the Hernando Beach channel marker. It was always mistaken as being Billy Steele's, but it is 6.29. And I'll put um, this a little picture at the end of the video showing this Google map of the coast with these markers on here. If you noticed, I don't really say much in the video. Again, I'm like just kind of like surprised on what kind of visibility I have. So I'm not really saying a lot. You'll hear me snipple now and then. I have allergies, so it's something that I have to deal with a lot of times. And here I'm turning the compensation exposure up and down on the P9 or P1000. It has a capability of where you can, do more exposure and less exposure while filming, which is nice. This is one of the features I do like about the P1000 because it gives me that capability. And I like that. It's a little more versatile. One of the other things I might try to do too is I've never really tried shooting in the black and white in the camera settings, but I believe there's a black and white setting. So I may try to do a black and white video the next time I'm out there. But I do have to say, in Florida, we're starting to get warm. Our weather's changing, and we're starting to get a little more humidity. So my viewing area is getting a lot of distortion, a lot of mirroring. But again, that's what these series are going to be about. I know I started October 14th, but I'm going to do a series for the month of October. And it's not that I went out every single day, but I went out quite a bit and did quite a bit of video. So I want to do some videos and show the differences that I get with this visibility, because there's some days I go out and I get this clear, crisp visibility, and then there's days I go out and oh man, it is crap out there. And honestly, anybody that's opened their eyes and they go out to an area and they say, "Wow, I don't normally see that." It isn't because of refraction pulling it up and bringing it into your sight. It's because of visibility. Come on, it's common sense that you get good visibility, you can see much further and you can see much better detail. So, in turn, we do have to start thinking for ourselves and say, "Wow, why?" I don't think it's teachers that intentionally deceived you. It's just what they were taught, so they teach the same thing. Um, so don't go blaming your teachers for your indoctrination system. They're just in the belief system. They work for the government, so they're just teaching what they are taught to teach. And that's plain and simple too. I have nothing against science, especially observational science, because this way you can visually see what somebody is actually doing. Um, and you can even look at some of them signs and say, damn, you can almost read them. If it wasn't for the little bit of distortion, you would. Now, this is Billy Steele's rack, and it is 8.62 miles away, give or take a little bit, because I can't really see where on Pine Island he's got the dot. He might be a little off on that. It was Buster Brown that made this little video. I should have put it at the end of each one of these videos to give you an idea of where I'm viewing. Now, Billy Steele's is compressed, and I think it's a little wider than it should be. And is that lensing
I think that's
looming?
Cutter's rock.
Very, very possible, because I see how, and this is into that mirroring zone.
How are
It's
you
past
doing?
the visible water.
Yep.
So, in turn, it's going to have this appearance. Plus, two, you got to realize that I cannot focus on it once it's back there. So, being out of focus can actually make objects bigger. Two, we got to take that into consideration. Life is short out there. Did some really excellent observations. He did his own little experiments or tests, and it was actually awesome because I understood what he was doing. Um, and I'm always saying math does not explain every single thing. Um, and that's one thing that we got to take into consideration. Math isn't going to explain the secrets of the world. There's things out there that we're just not supposed to know, and that's plain and simple too. I mean, look here as I'm focusing in and out how the objects change too. I mean, they get more blurred. They get a little more, as far as I'm concerned, they get bigger. So that might be the issue with these distant bird racks. Is once they're out to a certain point, they're getting diffracted down or refracted down. If you want to use the word refraction, when you're above water, it's always going to refract downward, not upward. Like, sticking a stick in the water, it refracts up. Well, this is kind of like the opposite. So we're going to see things get drawn down, not drawn up. Now, here's the Bayport bird rack. It is we didn't mark that one, but it's approximately 3.5 miles away, which you can obviously see how well detailed that is, and you can see the rocks that are closer to that rack that normally you wouldn't see if there was mirroring. Again, it would hide these rocks on a low tide. So, I'm all about observational proofs, and ever since I started, my first video, I was going to go out and make a video to debunk flat Earth. because I said, oh, well, here's the proof right here. You know, I was seeing boats cut off and everything, but I didn't really understand it until I got home and put that on my computer and viewed it. And I said, wait a minute here, something's wrong. So, of course, I started doing research into optics, angular resolution. Curious Life put out an excellent video on angular resolution, and I'm sure that's been all over the internet or all over YouTube. So, check that out if you haven't. If you've got questions, if you're a beginner coming into flat earth, you got to check out the angular resolution video of Curious Life. All right, again, thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed. Have a good day. Okay, I almost forgot about the picture. Here's the picture with all the bird racks except for Bayport rack. Again, I want to say thank you to all of my new subscribers, and thank you for all the other subscribers I have. I do appreciate you guys. Thanks a lot, and I hope you enjoyed.